he deliberately used kickstand.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that you do on a bike, and then you kick the kickstand back up and take off.
Yeah.
Like, bear in mind, he didn't talk about, like, tree roots being planted,
Which is like
concrete foundations. He used kickstand, which is about as, temporal as it gets.
I'm here for now.
Bikes and motorcycles are intended to move, like homes and trees are not.
Yeah.
Very deliberate what this word is.
You think you think it was very
It's a
deliberate?
meaningless thing. It is 100%. This is messaging. And if I'm him, I'm probably doing the same thing, but I'm probably going a step further and saying something more permanent. Because you have a team right now that's on a roll.
Yeah.
You have a team that's likely to play at a conference title game. And if you win that, you're in the playoff. And who the hell knows what happens there. And so I'm all in until the moment I'm gone. That's the way I think you have to do this.
Our main guy, Deion, here, man.
With his kickstand down.
Of course, we're inching towards
Speaking of kickstand downs,
Go ahead.
are you familiar with third leg Greg Olson?
Yeah. With the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Hurricanes days.
That is the greatest thing. I mean, that verse is just like, it's bad.
It's a classic, man.
It's a classic.
It's top 5 DOA in the sports.
But I love the fact, I hate the fact, because I don't like this about people. The fact that he tries so hard to distance himself from being that guy.
I know.
I hate that.
Because he got in so much trouble for it.
It doesn't matter. Like, you already got in trouble. You've had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah,
You're a successful broadcaster. Like, I would love nothing more than if he just, like, embraced it. I would. Like, why not?
Recreate it maybe and drop it again.
Drop another verse.
Yeah. Second verse to it.
or just show up in, like, karaoke spots and do it.
Yeah. Maybe even do like a Halloween thing and you dress back because he had to, whatever, the whole
think the next viral trend should be people tackling the third leg Greg verse. Dude, that would be way better than anything anybody's doing virally now.
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Start a trend.
There it
Greg
is.
Olson trend.
Now,
All right,
carry on with kickstand Deion.
That's right. So, Deion, we're closing towards the end of the college football season. So, every week, guys, people are going to be asking Deion about is he going to be, leaving or staying Colorado and things like that. So, he was asked and he said, made a comment about the kickstand. I'm assuming he's talking about the bike, right?
Motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or bicycle. Yeah.
How it stays or whatever, and basically he's interested in staying in Colorado. Is whatever. Now we've talked about this before. Now,
well, let's kick this around a little further.
Go ahead.
He deliberately used kickstand.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that you do on a bike, and then you kick the kickstand back up and take off.
Yeah.
Like, bear in mind, he didn't talk about, like, tree roots being planted,
Which is like
concrete foundations. He used kickstand, which is about as, temporal as it gets.
I'm here for now.
Bikes and motorcycles are intended to move, like homes and trees are not.
Yeah.
Very deliberate what this word is.
You think you think it was very
It's a
deliberate?
bullshit, meaningless thing. It is 100%. This is messaging. And if I'm him, I'm probably doing the same thing, but I'm probably going a step further and saying something more permanent. Because you have a team right now that's on a roll.
Yeah.
You have a team that's likely to play at a conference title game. And if you win that, you're in the playoff. And who the hell knows what happens there. And so I'm all in until the moment I'm gone. That's the way I think you have to do this. And so I get what he's doing, but I do think kickstand down is damn near as soft as you can get in terms of suggesting a commitment to something.
That's very true. And I didn't look at it that way. But that's important. That's important that he used that exact term there.
Yeah.
And we know about his history of Jackson State to Colorado and the statements he made there and turning back. So, maybe he knew he had to come up with something to where he doesn't want to be more permanent and then ended up leaving, and then there's going to be that conversation afterwards. So you have to think about that. I feel like we were one of the first ones to talk about this Cowboys thing. It's becoming more and more a bigger thing.
Yes.
If Shadur goes to the Cowboys, then of course Deion can join him there, and the Cowboys, they're in position. They're going to be in position depending on how the season ends there. That's going to be interesting, man. But so are the Raiders. They have this thing to where Shadur every Sunday. He says, "Thank you, God." Like there's a tweet that he puts out, and it happens to be after every Las Vegas Raiders loss. Like as soon as they lose, he'll put that out just randomly.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
There's just so many different ways to read this. Now, I remember last year when he was out in Colorado. He was on a couple podcasts with Tom Brady. There kind of was some intimation that there was some sort of mentorship going on there.
Right.
And Tom Brady's now a minority owner of the Raiders. I think the Cowboys makes a lot of sense too because they're a year overdue on a coaching change, and they get a situation where Deion's a former player of the Cowboys. Jerry Jones is like an attention-starved child who's going to try and make hires that get attention and get headlines, and there will be no bigger headline in terms of off-season maneuverings than if the Cowboys manage to draft Shadur and bring in Deion as a head coach. That will dominate off-season talk, whether it results in wins or not. It
100%.
will dominate it.
100%.
So and that's such a on brand for Jerry Jones to do. So I could see either way. Those two are both viable options for it, and would not be surprised at all. I mean, honestly, I would be more surprised if he stays at Colorado for another season. I'm not backing off of that until it happens. You got to show me on that one.
Now, you did say that. You were very early on that you highly doubted that he would come back to Colorado after this season.
Yeah.
I stand pat with you. I can't see a scenario that he stays for even one more year. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Travis and Shadur is gone. I haven't heard about any legitimate star quarterback that is even signed to the class.
They had Julian Lewis was out there the other week. He was a USC
on a visit.
Yeah, on a visit.
Okay.
He was a USC commit. He just decommitted from USC. He was at the Colorado game, but I think he's somewhere else either this weekend or even last weekend. He's just back on the market now. If there was something that that Deion was really locked in with him, maybe.
Yeah.
I just Deion and his son are so close, and I can't imagine Shadur starting his NFL career. And I'm not even saying Deion has to be the head coach of the team. If it's the Cowboys, I think it's a possibility, but just not being there for his son as he begins an NFL career, I just don't think as committed as a father that Deion is, I just don't see him doing that.
I saw a former football player on ESPN talking about, he doesn't know how the locker room would feel because he would feel some type of way in the locker room where the starting quarterback and the coach, with the father-son dynamic. And that was interesting because that's the first time I had ever thought about that in that way. What do you think about that? Do you think that could, be a problem?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely. It has to be handled really well. I don't know exactly what that pathway is, but I think it's unprecedented at the pro level to have your father coaching your own kid, and he's the starting quarterback. And remember how he came to Colorado with the "I'm bringing my luggage with me," saying that to an auditorium of 85 kids who just went 1-11 and probably damn well aren't going to be part of the program, that's kind of like low risk.
Yeah.
Saying that to a group of professionals,
grown ass man,
that probably 30 of them will be returning from the prior team and have been in the league for various levels of experience, and you might have a couple all-pro level guys in there. That comes across way different. That's that'll have to be delicately played for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there is the obvious. If you draft Shadur and you hire Deion, you know who your starting quarterback is going to be. But beyond that, I think he's got to have strike a balance where he's kind of showing, and I'm not talking about the quarterback room. I'm talking about the whole locker room, the whole roster. There's got to be a way that you transcend value or transmit value to that whole roster and not just come across like you're here to shepherd your son's NFL career.
Yeah.
And that's a tall challenge.
It really is. It really is. And we'll see where that goes for sure. Now, where is this at here? My eyes are getting so bad.
It's not a good sign. I heard there's a correlation between that and masturbation.